Try mocking me again. Single dad waiter warned, the billionaire froze. Part 1. The loud laughter that echoed through the elegant restaurant stopped the moment one exhausted waiter quietly lifted his head and looked directly into the eyes of the richest man in the room. His voice remained calm, but every word carried years of pain, sacrifice, and silent dignity. Try mocking me again, he said, and this time, make sure you know who you're laughing at. In that single heartbeat, expensive glasses froze halfway to the table, conversations disappeared into silence, and the billionaire who had spent his life believing money could buy respect suddenly felt something he had not experienced in decades: fear. Before this unforgettable story begins, take 1 second to support Echo Tale's story. If you believe that kindness is never weakness, that every hardworking parent deserves respect, and that second chances can change lives forever, please like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps these heartfelt stories reach more people around the world. Morning sunlight poured gently across the streets of Brookhaven as people hurried toward offices, cafes, and busy intersections. The city looked beautiful from a distance, but hidden inside its endless movement were people carrying invisible battles. Among them was 34-year-old Nathan Mercer, a quiet single father whose entire world revolved around his 8-year-old daughter, Olive. Every sunrise began the same way. Nathan woke before dawn, prepared breakfast, packed Olive's school bag with carefully folded notebooks, braided her long brown hair the best he could, and walked her to the neighborhood school before rushing across town to begin another exhausting shift as a waiter at one of the city's most luxurious daytime restaurants. The restaurant welcomed celebrities, business executives, and politicians every afternoon. Crystal windows reflected bright daylight, fresh flowers decorated every table, and polished marble floors sparkled beneath the soft light. Guests admired the elegance, but few ever noticed the waiters who worked tirelessly behind every perfect meal. Nathan was one of those invisible people. He never complained, never argued, and never allowed the exhaustion on his face to affect the warmth of his smile. Every extra tip meant another school book, another meal, or another chance to keep Olive believing that life was still beautiful despite everything they had lost. 5 years earlier, Nathan had lived a completely different life. He had worked as a mechanical engineer, earning enough to provide comfortably for his young family. Then tragedy struck without warning. A devastating highway accident claimed the life of his wife, Marina, leaving Nathan alone with a frightened 3-year-old daughter and mountains of medical debt. Grief shattered his concentration. He missed deadlines, lost his engineering position, and spent months desperately searching for work. Eventually, the only job available was serving tables. Friends slowly disappeared, former colleagues stopped calling, and many people who once admired his success suddenly treated him as though he no longer mattered. Nathan accepted the humiliation because giving up was never an option. Every sacrifice he made was for Olive. Olive understood more than most children her age. She never complained about wearing carefully repaired shoes or carrying a backpack that had been stitched together several times. She often left tiny handwritten notes inside Nathan's lunchbox. One read, "You're my hero even when you're tired." Another simply said, "Mom would be proud of you." Those little pieces of paper became stronger than any paycheck. Whenever customers spoke harshly or ignored his existence, Nathan quietly remembered his daughter's words and kept moving forward. Across the city, another man was preparing for an important business lunch. His name was Victor Ashcombe, founder of a billion-dollar investment empire and one of the wealthiest businessmen in the country. Newspapers praised his intelligence and fearless negotiations, yet very few people knew how cold success had made him. Victor believed status defined human value. He admired expensive suits more than honest character and judged people within seconds of meeting them. Employees feared disappointing him because even the smallest mistake often ended careers. That afternoon, Victor arrived at the restaurant accompanied by several international investors. Cameras flashed outside as luxury cars lined the entrance. Restaurant managers rushed anxiously from table to table, making certain every detail appeared flawless. Nathan was assigned to Victor's table because of his calm professionalism. He politely welcomed the guests, poured water, and carefully presented the menu exactly as he had done hundreds of times before. Everything seemed perfect until one investor accidentally knocked over a glass. Water splashed across the white tablecloth and onto Victor's designer jacket. Nathan reacted immediately, apologizing sincerely while replacing the cloth with remarkable speed. Most customers would have appreciated the effort, but Victor's expression darkened. Without raising his voice, he began making cruel remarks about people who spent their lives serving others instead of becoming successful. His companions laughed politely, eager to remain on the billionaire's good side. Each sentence felt heavier than the last, reducing Nathan from a hardworking father to nothing more than an object of amusement. Nearby diners noticed the uncomfortable scene but remained silent. Nathan lowered his eyes, cleaned the table, and continued serving with dignity. Inside, however, memories flooded back, every rejection after losing his engineering career, every sleepless night worrying about Olive's future, every promise he had made beside Marina's grave that their daughter would never lose hope. The words cut deeply, but they also awakened something he had buried for years, self-respect. Just before leaving the table, Nathan looked directly at Victor. His voice was steady, respectful, yet impossible to ignore. He quietly warned the billionaire not to mistake humility for weakness and not to mock a person whose story he knew nothing about. The calm confidence in Nathan's eyes made Victor pause for the first time. For reasons he could not explain, the wealthy businessman felt unexpectedly unsettled. It was as if the waiter standing before him carried a strength that no amount of money could ever purchase. Neither man realized that this brief encounter would soon uncover a forgotten connection stretching back decades, a truth capable of changing both of their lives forever. By the time the afternoon sun began to fade across the city skyline, one secret from the past was already moving silently toward them, ready to prove that destiny often arrives wearing the ordinary clothes of someone the world refuses to notice. To be continued in Part 2.